Hi guys, it is Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my March book unhaul. So these are all books that I had before I started BookTube or books I read in the month of March and either just didn't like or I'm deciding to DNF. So just to get us started, I'm going to start off with my Marilyn Monroe books. These are autobiographies or biographies. She didn't write any of herself. Biographies about Marilyn Monroe, and while they were interesting, I just don't think I'm going to be picking them up in the future. This one is called Falling for Marilyn by Jack Carroll, and it's essentially a picture collection of all of the pictures from the Niagara set that she was on. And then this one is Marilyn Monroe in the Movies by Timothy Knight, and it's a textbook analyzation of her works in movies and everything like that. And while these are both great, I just don't see myself picking them up in the future. And then I also had Movie Icons Monroe by Tashin, and I had two of this, which was interesting. And this is essentially just a picture book of Marilyn Monroe pictures, so I'm not going to be keeping those. Next, I have the books that I'm probably the most relieved to get rid of, which are my Pretty Little Liars collection. I only had the first 6 books, and I'm just going to be picking up the rest from the library. I am enjoying the series as far as the mystery and everything of that aspect, but it's just too much boy drama and everything for me, and I am passing along what I can to someone who will appreciate it a little bit more. And then along with those, we have the other books by Sarah Shepard, which are the Never Have I Ever Line Game series, and I just had the first book from it because right when I was invested in Pretty Little Liars, I thought this was one of the Pretty Little Liars books, so I bought it at a yard sale, and it was not, so I'm just going to be passing that on as well. Next we have the books that I DNF'd in March, and these are Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office by Lois P. Frankel, and this one I'm getting rid of. I haven't decided what to do with it, but I need to get rid of it in like a better way than just donating it because there's literally pages ripped out of it, so I'm not really sure what to do with it, but I'll figure something out. And then we have The Power of a Positive Woman by Carol Ladd, which was something I thought was going to be about like embracing your positivity and happiness in life, and it just really wasn't, so passing that one on. And then The Market by J.M. Steele. It just felt like a Pretty Little Liars-esque novel minus the mystery, so I wasn't really intrigued from the start, but I was gonna give it a chance. And then it had The R Word, which I don't like seeing in text, so I decided to pass it on because it was on page 3 and I already wasn't invested to begin with, so I was like, I'm not gonna waste my time. Next we have books that I finished in March but just didn't really like, and that was The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare. I'm glad I read it because it's a Shakespeare work, but in general I just really didn't like the story, so I'm going to be passing this one on, and I'm sure a theater major or someone in theater or someone who just likes classical text is going to enjoy picking this up because it is a side-by-side, so it's got the Shakespeare text on one side and then like the modern English version on the other. So that was a pretty cool thing about it, but I just didn't like it, so I'm going to be passing it on. And also The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. This was a really well-written book and very detailed. It tells the story of a man who dies and leaves a vacancy in the small town's court, and it's a lot of politics, a lot of talk of drug abuse and what to do, and it was an interesting book, and it was well written, very detailed. You can tell it's definitely a work by J.K. Rowling. It just wasn't something that I'm interested in. I did finish it, so it was enjoyable enough to keep me entertained the whole time, but it's just not something I will ever pick up again, and I'm sure someone else will appreciate it. It's a beautiful book. The spine is so pretty, and the back is really cute, and it looks like Hogwarts a little. It's not Hogwarts. Do not go into this thinking it's Hogwarts. Next are the books that I have not talked about on my BookTube channel other than my thrift store haul. I went to a thrift store and they had a 25-cent sale, so I was going like crazy through the books and just putting books in my cart. And after reevaluation, I just feel that these books aren't necessarily books that I will enjoy reading, so I'm going to donate them to a better cause than my bookshelf and sitting there and never being read. So first we have Damned by Nancy Holder and Debbie Viggy. I'm just really not into vampire stories at all. They don't interest me. That is one mythical creature that I'm just like, meh. So I'm going to be passing this one along. I have First Love by James Patterson, and I didn't realize that I already had this one because it's a completely different cover. So I don't need two versions of a book that I probably will be unhauling in the future. So I'm going to get rid of the one version and then read the other and decide from there. Then I have The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum, and this is a thriller. I'm just really not into scary things, so bye. And then we have The Girl Who Played with Fire by Stieg Larsson, and after reading the reviews and reading the synopsis and everything, this is also a thriller, and I'm just really not into that. I read The Girl on the Train, which is about as thriller-esque as I get, but it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to keep reading, because I'm just enjoying these books more. So stick with what I love, you know? So I'm going to be passing this along as well. And then lastly are two books I read that I quite enjoyed in March. They're just not ones that I see myself picking up in the future. So I'll just go to the library if I ever want to read them again. So I have The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks, which tells the story of a girl who her parents are divorced and she goes to live with her dad for the summer, and growing that relationship back with her dad again after all the hatred for so many years and everything with that. There was a lot of romance in this that just didn't make sense, so that's the reason I don't think I'll ever pick this up again, but it is a very cute message and a very cute story, and it did make me cry, so I guess anything that has characters that get me attached enough to make me cry over them is worthy of being called a good book. It's just not something that I see myself picking up in the future, so I will be passing this along. This one is The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen, and I've read a lot of Sarah Dessen works when I was younger, and I remembered really loving them, so I wanted to reread some of them. This one tells the story about a girl losing her dad and like dealing with the grief of that between her mom and her sister and someone else who lost their parent, and just how everyone's grief is different, and I really enjoyed the message behind it, and it is such a good book. I just don't think I'll ever pick it up again, and I think it deserves to be read by other people, so I'm going to be passing this along as well. So that is my March unhaul. I'm happy that I got the chance to read these books and discover these worlds. They're just not for me, or I feel that they deserve better than just sitting on a bookshelf not being touched. So I will be passing them along. I'm happy to be passing them on to someone who will appreciate them more. And that's all I have for today, so I will check in with you in my next video. Bye guys!